All right, let's get right into it. We are going to talk about one of the biggest and honestly one of the messiest legal questions of our time, AI and copyright. And trust me, this affects pretty much every single one of us. So let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever posted a photo online or maybe written a blog post? How about recorded a little tune and thrown it up on the internet? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, you probably have. Well, if you did any of those things, congratulations. You are officially a copyright owner. And whether you realize it or not, that means you've been pulled right into the middle of a huge legal fight that generative AI has just blown wide open. Okay, so let's start with that really basic idea. You, yes, you, are a copyright owner. Let's break down what that even means because it's the key to this whole thing. The idea itself is actually way simpler than you might think. Thanks to the Copyright Act of 1976, copyright is basically just legal protection for your original works. The moment you create something, you snap that photo, you type that sentence, and you save it, you are the author and you are the owner. That's it. No paperwork, no fancy lawyers, you're just in. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. AI has created not one, but two gigantic copyright headaches. And it really all boils down to what goes into the machine and what comes out of it. And this breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got the input problem. This is about tech companies scraping basically the entire internet, your photos, your articles, your art, and feeding it all into their AIs to train them. Then on the other side, there's the output problem. After an AI creates a brand new image or piece of text, who owns that? Can anyone own it at all? So with the input problem, the key thing to understand is just the sheer scale of it all. These AI models need a mind-boggling amount of data. And a whole lot of creators are now saying, hey, that data was my life's work, and you took it without asking. This is all playing out in some massive lawsuits, like the New York Times going after OpenAI, claiming ChatGPT can spit out their articles almost word for word. And that's just one of over 30 of these lawsuits that are happening right now. But the output problem, what happens after you type your prompt into an AI, that's where things get really, really strange, especially for you, the person actually using the tool. Just check this out. A user on Reddit dug into the terms of service for an AI image generator called Recraft and found that the company claims that it owns the images you make with it. Now, here's the crazy part. US law is pretty clear that a work generated purely by an AI can't be copyrighted by anyone. So you have companies writing terms of service to claim ownership over something the law says is unownable. It's a complete legal Wild West out there. So how are these big tech companies defending themselves against all these lawsuits from creators? Well, they're pinning all their hopes on a really powerful but really complicated legal concept called fair use. Think of fair use as a sort of legal balancing test. It isn't a simple rule. Courts look at these four factors to decide if using someone's copyrighted material without permission is, well, fair. They ask things like, are you using it to make money or for education? How much of the original did you actually use? And, probably most importantly, does your new thing hurt the sales of the original piece? So the big argument from the tech companies is that training an AI is fair use because it's transformative. They claim the AI isn't just making copies, it's learning from all that data to create something brand new. And you know what? That argument is actually working in court. A judge recently sided with the AI company Anthropic, calling its use of copyrighted books exceedingly transformative. Okay, so that's the big, messy legal fight. But what does this all mean for the actual creators who are trying to use these new tools? Well, there's a dream being sold, but the reality is a lot more confusing. And this post from Reddit just captures that dream perfectly, right? Somebody's thinking about a totally automated YouTube channel. You just type in a few words and poof, out comes a perfect hour-long video. It sounds like an amazing way to make some crazy money. But then you look at the reality of using these tools. Here's the pricing for 11 Labs, a super popular AI voice generator. Instead of a simple monthly fee, you're trying to figure out this bizarre system of credits that you burn through. And see that free plan that looks so generous? Well, those credits can vanish in the blink of an eye. So what does 10,000 credits, an entire month's worth on the free plan, actually buy you? It gets you about 15 minutes of an AI agent's time. That's it. So that dream of an hour-long, fully automated video, suddenly it looks a whole lot more expensive and way more complicated than you thought. All of this chaos and confusion, it forces us to step back and ask a much bigger, more fundamental question. Why do we even have copyright law? To begin with, what's its purpose? And that brings us to the real heart of the issue. For most of history, these two ideas have run side by side. On one hand, you've got the humanistic view. Copyright exists to reward and encourage people to be creative. On the other hand, there's the industrial view. Copyright exists to make sure the stuff we create has economic value. For a long time, those two goals were aligned. But now, generative AI is prying them apart. So this is the huge question we're all left with. Are our copyright laws designed to protect human creators and help us flourish? Or are they about to be rewritten to just serve as an industrial policy for the age of AI? Basically, to pave the way for the next big tech revolution, no matter what it costs individual artists and writers. How we answer that question is going to define the future of creativity for everyone.